welcome CRN Nation. We are back again tonight here. This time just only with 191 Motorsports. They will be tackling on Talladega for 100 amazing laps. 2.66 miles. So gonna run just over 260 miles here tonight. And it's gonna be close-knit racing, pack racing, super speedway racing. Got a cool 104 degrees for our track temperature and 77 degrees for outside weather with only 5 miles an hour wind, so very negligible here tonight. I'm Jimmy Covert up here in the booth, and we'll be joined here shortly by our fellow commentator, Carl Hanworth, as he's finishing up some personal stuff, I believe, eating. So we need to eat. We have a pretty busy days throughout, so either way, we're going to get started here. Again, just wanted to give a shout out to everybody that's out there. Obviously, Mike Casey, Crazy Racer, Brenda, not only the number 31 with a broken hand. Nice. That's dedication. Not the first, but definitely that is dedication here, as that's very challenging to kind of even drive with two hands, especially in some rough traffic. So obviously, again, shout out there from Mike Casey saying good luck, drivers. So again, 100 laps here at Talladega. The drivers are out there right now getting some qualifying times in. Not necessarily, the worst thing if you finish in the back, but maybe a little pride and self-satisfaction as you can hold it over your teammates that you took the pole here solo without anybody dragging you around or you dragging them around. So it's going to be a good one here tonight. Again, we were, I'm just excited. Still just wound up from last night.
Yeah, I mean, listen, after the chaos of last night, I think this should be a little bit more relaxed for everybody. I don't think I ever thought Talladega would be relaxed, but after the CRN Cup last night, I mean, this is a totally different animal here, a different aspect here. I mean, obviously just wide open and worried about the drafting and bump drafting here tonight. It's certainly not easy. It's never easy running at Talladega, even though it seems like it. Sometimes these drivers make it. But yeah, last night, 50 cars at Charlotte. That was a bit interesting. Well, we'll just put it that way. But if you haven't seen it, definitely check it out on CRN and go back and take a watch. It was really really good, really fun event. Both the oval race at Charlotte and then the road race, the roval with definitely some interesting calamity on the first lap, first turn. Won't give anything away for anybody that wants to rewatch it and tune into it, but it was definitely interesting. Again, to put it that way, but. We're here now, back to regular league racing, and yeah, I can understand Mike recovering from last night. I think there's a few drivers that are still licking their wounds after last night. Unfortunately for 191, they're right back at it here tonight. Hold your brakes. They got a day off. They run tomorrow night, and the rest of them obviously have a few more days off. But not for 191. They get thrown right back in the fire here and get back at it. But it's yeah, no, exactly. We had one day off last week. We had Friday off. I took kids to movies under the stars. Got a chance to get away from the computer for one day. But yeah, I'm happy to be back, right back up here in the booth. I'm still kind of coming down off a high of last night myself. So that was a fun one. But looking forward to it here tonight. 100 laps is going to be just an endurance race here at Talladega. That's a good amount of laps.
Yeah, I mean, I see out there Kay Jordanson missed out on the shirt giveaway last night. We do have those. I think, Carl, we can go back and see who won the shirts. I think it was it Tim Thompson and somebody else?
Yeah, it was Tim Thompson and Ender Jess. Yep, they're the winners from last night, I believe. Ender Jess.
But those shirts are coming from one of your sponsors, Kim Cups and More.
Indeed, yeah, and Justin Spengler's fiance. So we did have one winner of the shirts here from 191 support. So congrats to the winners here. But we are done with qualifying. We got our 17 driver order, and looks like it is going to be 17 here tonight. I did see that race control is going to be from the car tonight. So we'll see maybe Daniel Pinkston out there in the car. Jimmy, why don't you give us a rundown of that starting order?
I think Daniel got enough of a taste last night to be back on the track. So pushing his luck here. Figured if he can do that race, he can do anything. So even control from the car. So Cameron Craighead on the pole here tonight in the number 58 over Foster. Yates, excuse me, with TJ Ivy and Matthew Jordan making up row number 2. Matthew Radford, Justin Spangler making up row number 3 with Douglas Ivy and Wade Enyart making up row number 4. Christopher Kurtz and Scott Henderson make up row number 5 with Paul Helms and Bradley Worley in row number 6. Row number 7, Tony Brennan with Richard Hartman, Daniel Pinkston, and Zane Bierman back there in row number 8. And bringing up the back of the pack, one-handed tonight, Dale Garner Jr. So good luck, Dale. That's going to be a rough one.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I guess if there's any track that you can maybe do it, I guess it'd be like, Talladega, Daytona, where you're only worried about just doing a little bit of turning all the way around the track and can kind of just keep it flat to the floor and until the wrecks happen. And that's where you might want to take that one and only hand off the wheel because you don't want to have 2 broken hands because it can happen real quick depending on the equipment that these drivers are going with. And it's worth noting. I mean, these are the kind of tracks here that can cause real life damage. I mean, there's different setups that drivers can have, but I mean they go all the way up to direct drives where it's the same amount of force that you would feel in the car. So if you ever watch NASCAR, IndyCar, Formula One, anything like that, and you see they're in a wreck or they know they're going to get in a big wreck, they let go of the wheel because there's no power steering. That wheel is going to rip back and forth whatever the wheels are doing, and that's how the direct drives are in sim here too as well, depending on what kind of equipment they have. So you got to be careful. You could be holding on the wheel trying to save it, then all of a sudden you get T-boned or you get hit from behind, and it's not expecting it. We've certainly had over the years heard of drivers breaking thumbs, damaging their wrists and everything like that. Just even though it's virtual, it can cause some real life damage.
I mean, it's got to be difficult. I mean, one-handed, I'm not sure how you're shifting. I mean, you got to get into gear eventually, so maybe right-handed and you're clicking the right for up, but if you have to downshift, well, good luck. It's going to be a challenge unless you got some sort of button that you can shift with on your left or right hand. So it's going to be a challenge for sure. Maybe
hopefully it's the right hand he's driving with. I mean, if it's a left hand he's driving with, I would not want to think about how you're going to shift up to get up through the gears here.
And no, I mean, you'd be almost crossed, hand over the wheel or something. I don't know. We've had a few people do some challenging races. I know John Crane, one of our core members, he used to, he drove with a broke thumb. Matt Crockett, he drove with a just after back surgery. I was in the booth like 2 days later after getting part of a kidney removed. I mean, we all do it.
Yeah, we're all, you're trying to say we're all stupid enough to do it. Yeah, I 100% agree. I can't agree with you more, but this will be fun out here. Again, it's Talladega, and you have to be smart though. I mean, it's so easy to just get in the car and want to go to the front and want to lead, and we've said it so many times. There's 3 different ways you can tackle Talladega. There's getting to the front, trying to stay in front of any kind of calamity behind you. There's the drivers that will drop to the back, or they'll drop to the down to the inside, down the back stretch, and go to the back and maybe find a partner or two and stay back far enough from the chaos. And then there's the insane people, the ones that need to be checked out, that like to drive right in the middle of all the chaos and right in the battlefield, as my co-commentator calls it. But we are gonna get the green flag here this evening. We are racing here, 191 Motorsports here at Talladega Super Speedway. It is Cameron Craighead that is gonna lead them off into turn number 1.
And I'm gonna come back here with Dale Garner Jr. in the back. It's a great shot of everybody kind of in there. We're in the gyro cam right now, so you get to see how steep that banking actually is in the turn. It's very steep, to get around here to hold all that high momentum off the straightaways. Gives them something that actually the tires can actually hold on to. But Dale's going to start here in the back as he lets people go by. I'm sure he's going to play the safe game. Like you said, all he needs to do is kind of get out here, hold on to the draft, and be there at the end. You never know what can happen. Could walk away, with a real good win. Possibly, a real good win, a real good finish, or a possibility of the win. So it's just all about kind of staying out of the way. There is 100 laps, Carl. I don't expect these drivers to I don't want to say don't expect. I shouldn't expect to see any real major fighting here early on. Just a lot of just drafting, just kind of hold each other in tow and just kind of knock some laps out, and then, you know, eventually here and there kind of poke your nose around. But I think we'll see big shifts around once and if the green flags under caution happen, and then we'll see where the drivers will go from there. So let's see if these drivers can make it lap by lap and get in for a green flag pit stop. Who practiced their green flag pit stops? Because that's my favorite part. It's also the most intricate, and where somebody can make or lose the most amount of spots.
I mean, you want to get an idea of what last night was like with the 50 cars of Charlotte. Take a look at when these drivers come down there, if they come down for green flag pit stops. Hopefully we do get some green flag stops here, and it's not anything under caution each time, because it's chaos, and you better make sure that you know who's coming in with you, and you know where they're going and everything like that. You kind of you need to make a decision, and you need to try and keep it straight going into pit road. As much as you need to keep it straight, you know, down these straightaways and even in the corners to make sure you're getting good draft. You need to keep it straight when you're braking coming into the pits, because there's going to be probably 2, 3, 4, 5 wide. I mean, we've seen upwards of 8 wide coming into pit lane, depending on how many cars are coming at the same time. But you can't come in alone. You need a friend, and you need friends probably all the way through this race until maybe you know, a lap or 2 left. So for 98 laps, you can make some friends out there, and then all of a sudden throw the phone away. You got no friends anymore. It's trying to get to the front, trying to get the win. But coming into the pits and coming out of the pits, you definitely need friends, because you lose this draft, you're out there by yourself, you're going to fall way back, and more often than not, you're going to find the pack once again as they're passing you going a lap down.
I mean, who wants to be friends with the steward? I mean, he's the mailman, so I mean,
listen,
try to be nice to your mailman.
He's dealing out the penalties for the season, so that's the person you want to be friends with.
And maybe somebody got a bad penalty and went the wrong way. I mean, you never know. But no, just kind of goofing around here just a little bit, lighten the mood. As these drivers are traveling around here at a cool, let's see, what's their speeds? I think their top speeds are around 198, 203 miles an hour for Cameron Craighead that time by, but looks like fastest person on the track in the draft, obviously the number 51 with 204 miles an hour.
Yeah, I don't know if my SDK messed up or not. If it didn't, we may need to bring in the 28 into tech afterwards, because I'm seeing 213 miles an hour for Justin Spengler, but that doesn't seem right. I don't think I ever seen one of these cars go 213 here, no matter how much the draft is. Usually topping out just, you know, over 200 miles an hour, maybe like 205, 206 as an absolute high with a great run. But at 213, I don't know. I'm questioning that one a little bit.
Yeah, I have 199 for Justin Spengler, so hasn't broken the 200 range just yet, but still in that draft, so I'm sure he's not too worried about it. Like I said, it's a lot of laps out here. It's going to be a while, and he's cooking a while out here. Each lap is right around 50 seconds, so just under a minute. You know, these are going to be out here for at least an hour and a half at green flag pace, so it's definitely a long one here tonight, so there's no reason at all to, you know, try to make some silly move and go 3 wide. Now I can see if you got the draft and you want to try to make it a little farther up, you know, but you know, prior to pit stops, Carl, I don't think many people, I know personally, I don't like going to the outside. I find that there's somebody in my way. I know I'm not pitting for like another 10 or 15 laps, and there's somebody on my left-hand side. I just feel it's a hassle that I have to not only try to work my way on the outside, but now I need to try to get back down to the inside in order to make a pit stop. And I guess it really just kind of depends on the part of the field I'm in, but I'm one of those clowns that like to be up front, so the outside is not my favorite.
And that's where we kind of we don't disagree too often, but yeah, when it comes to super speedways, that's where we kind of disagree, is because I'm the one that likes to be on that outside. No, I'm the one that likes to have a little bit of freedom. If there's you know, something that's happening up in front of me, I don't like to feel like I'm kind of pinned down there on the bottom. Even though you have something to follow down there, you have that yellow line, you can really kind of just tuck it in there, and if something happens, usually it's from somebody messing up and coming down into you. But I like the freedom, as long as we're not 3 wide already. But I like being out there to the outside, so I know I can move to the left or move to the right if need be. But yeah, when it comes down to getting a little closer to you know, pit time, you need to find your way down to the bottom. You cannot try and send a move from the outside to the inside. That's not going to work. But do want to send a shout out to a couple drivers for their paint schemes out here tonight. One is going to be the man in the back right now, the 21 of Wade Enyart, as he's running a special paint scheme out here tonight. It is the blue and white paint that was his 2010 in real life Grand National and street stock wrap, and a couple lengths of Douglas Ivy getting that one done for the 21 in the back. We'll get the camera over there and take a look at it here in a second. Looking at Barney just having a good time right now, not having to worry about waving any kind of flags.
Yeah, Barney just sometimes he relax, you know, as long as the drivers are behaving themselves. It doesn't have to get too involved here. But yeah, just close up here of Wade's car. You can see right there in your farms.
Yeah, I think Barney sometimes gets a little too comfortable. There's been some times before we go into tracks and we think it's the white flag, but we're like, oh no, Barney's not waving the white flag, and all of a sudden the checker comes out and like, what just happened? So sometimes Barney falls asleep at the wheel up there in the stand. But the other one we want to I want to give a shout out to and a showcase to is trying to find out where he is in the field. He's in 7th place right now, the 23 of Matthew Scruffy Jordan, and his paint scheme a little bit different here tonight. He's running it in memory of his grandfather that was unfortunately diagnosed with prostate cancer, and just kind of wants to give a little shout out to Papa Jordan there. So thoughts and prayers to CRN, from CRN to Scruffy out there, and I mean, it's never fun when you find that out, and I know we both had our share of instances. Obviously, if it's family members or even my co-commentator here, it's not fun to deal with any kind of disease, especially with cancer like that. But hopefully everything works out for the Jordan family there.
Yeah, something that kind of it's hard to explain. Obviously, I had to go through it a couple years ago, but that whole year before the surgery, it was just like, kind of wondering, just thoughts, things, you think about things a little bit differently. And then obviously now it's like, I've had the good news of it being gone for the past 2.5 years. So hopefully it stays that way, and I'll keep getting it checked for a few more years, yearly, and then I'm sure that'll be, maybe once every couple years. But it's definitely something that weighs hard or heavy on a lot of people, because some people, they go way too soon, way too soon, especially the youngsters, and that's why I see a lot of them fundraisers for like the was it John Hospice and stuff like that, for stuff like that. So yeah, so shout out to all the family members that had to deal stuff like that. It's not a tough time, or not a tough time, not a easy time, and definitely thoughts over this there, Papa Jordan.
Yeah, I know. Growing up, my uncle was basically my father figure, my second father figure, growing up around him, and he ended up passing away from cancer himself. So it sucks. It sucks seeing somebody go down that route, but you keep keep all the good memories in mind, regardless of what the situation is. I mean, hopefully everything does work out, but even through the times, you gotta still remember those good times. And right here, racing is what I think about as getting a little crazy at the front, and looks like a good save right there on the outside by the 15. Still kind of getting pinched out there, and a little early for 3 wide, but looks like was that the 13? I thought it was, but trying to figure out who that actually is. I think it's Tony Brennan in the 65. Still has the 13 on. up into the wall. Maybe he's trying to scrape. Maybe the 13's over top of the 65. He's trying to scrape it off so we don't yell at him. That could be the case here. But yeah, sorry. Unfortunately for Mike Casey out there, the car he's rooting for right now is about to go 13 laps down as he's pulling for the pace car. But we haven't seen him since the start of this race. So 13 laps down right now is the car Casey's pulling for. But right now out front, Cameron Craighead leads the way. TJ Ivey, Douglas Ivey battling for second place. Daniel Pinkston, the Scruffy Jordan there in the top 5. Then you got Radford, Spengler, Kurtz, Bierman, and Helms for your top 10.
And a move there by the 85 of Douglas Ivey on the outside, trying to get around Cameron Craighead. And the only way you're really going to get around Cameron, I think, Carl, is if he does not have somebody pushing him. Somebody's got to let him out and hang him out to dry. Obviously, Cameron Craighead has been a kind of a force to be reckoned with here as of lately. Been one of the faster cars on the track pretty much everywhere, and kind of maybe looking to kind of put him in his place. And if you keep feeding the horse, he's going to stay out front. So right now, getting some good pushers, and I'm just waiting for that 58 to probably maybe run out of gas all by himself, and then there's really nothing he could do. He'd be by himself. So who's going to come in with the 58, or does he have a bunch of friends in the field?
Right now, it is the regular admin, Daniel Pinkston, in second place. He's the one pushing him on that inside. So, I guess what happens if he causes a caution here? Does he EOL himself? Does he throw the caution? I mean, if he can't see what's going on behind him right now, how does he know to throw the caution? I guess we'll see what happens there for the 22. But good job
I got him.
right now.
I got him. Hold on a minute. DQ.
Started back there in 15th and already up to second place, and that's what you'll see a lot of times here at Talladega. You can go from the back to the front very, very quickly. He kind of did it slowly and methodically here, but either way up to second place right now. And it's starting to get a little racy here already. Too wide here through most of the field. For a while there was single file, but I think they got tired of staring at each other's backsides. Now it looks like the 58 moves up in front of Radford. It's going to take away that top lane.
It still has 70.
That was a little sketchy. We're going to keep it green, but
Wow.
The 58 is going towards the back, and we are going to get a caution here as TJ Ivey takes the lead. But it looks like we're going to get a caution here. Everybody kept it straight here, but I think this might have been just kind of precautionary to throw the yellow flag out here. Take a look at what happened here again, and looked like maybe a late move down to the bottom. Yep, and the 97 didn't lift. Heck of a save from the 58, and I think I understand why the 64 there, Paul Helms, threw the caution there, as it was kind of happening right there in front of him as he was coming through the corner. But what a save there from the 58. May have a little bit of splitter damage from going up and down on that apron, but kept that car pointing in the right direction.
I mean, we're a couple laps in, so I would not be surprised to see the whole field come down the pit lane.
Yeah, I think anytime you get a chance for a free pit stop, you got to come down there, even if you're just taking fuel. But you can take tires. It doesn't really matter. If and when you take tires here, these drivers do have 5 for the race, so maybe you got to keep that in mind a little bit if you start blowing through them early. But other than that, you don't need tires out here. You don't really wear tires too much, but it does give you just a little bit more sense of comfortability when you come out there with fresh tires. You do notice it. Like if you were just, you could drive this entire probably 100 laps on one set of tires if you wanted to, and you won't really notice that much of a difference. You're not going to lose speed. You're not going to lose handling that bad. But when you come out on new tires, it just feels like it's a lot more responsive. As it should be, and I'm sure we'll see quite a few take some tires here, because track position doesn't necessarily matter too much here at Talladega. So if you lose some spots, if somebody decides to just take fuel only or right side tires only, I don't know why you would, but it's certainly an option. And it looks like maybe a few deciding to just take fuel, and it could just be a situation of maybe wanting to save those tires for later.
Yeah, like you said, it's not a huge detriment to, you could probably go one set of tires for 100 laps. They don't wear down very much. Now, the only benefit I found from taking tires on a super speedway, like you said, sometimes it's just more responsive. But obviously you got to be careful with these tire models. You getting them warmed up and getting them back to temperature, and watching that wheel spin on the rip. But you know, we've talked about it in the past where this is a track you don't want that whole shot. You don't want to like you're in a dragster and jump out to a 4 or 5 car length because the rest of the field, the draft will just run you over. Like there's no sense of being out front, so you might as well just drag your brakes a little bit, get a nice slow start, and you know, if you're down at the bottom and you lose a spot, instead of being ran over and wrecked. So we'll see how the field kind of takes it out here. We are 18 laps into the 100, so we're about a fifth of the way done now. Go ahead and bring up here. See, looks like, yep, everybody did come in for tires, and on lap 17. So we are good to go. Still have all drivers, I believe, yep, on the lead lap. And on 17, so everybody's back on pace there, Carl. Now the only thing that's changed is we'll right here. Boop. Show the gains, the spots gained here by the drivers and how they've kind of progressed for the race so far. Radford up 4 spots, Spengler up 4 spots, Ivy still holding strong in P number 3, Pinkston up 11 spots in P number 4, Jordan falls 1 spot, Ivy up a spot, Worley up 5 spots, Bierman up 8 spots, Hartman up 5 spots, Brennan up 3 spots, Helms holding strong at P11, and then Kurtz down 3, Craighead down 12, Yates down 12, Henderson down 5, Garner's up 1, and Enyart down 9. So it's kind of just a small.
And that'll change 100 times.
Oh,
in the next 6 laps, let alone the rest of this race. But yeah, you mentioned on these restarts here, and that's kind of another place where a lot of times me and you know, kind of differ. You know, there's draggers and there's lifters. I'm more of a dragger. I think Jimmy has mentioned before that he's more of a lifter, and what that means is when you get that start here, it's nice when you're the control car. You can dictate when you're going green, but you don't want to get out to any kind of lead here on the restart. You want to make sure that there's somebody right behind you, especially if it's one of your, you know, your friends, your teammates. Now, if your teammate is lined up on the outside in row number 2, you can maybe coordinate a little bit. You get a good jump, and they get a good enough jump and tuck in behind you, and then you're good to go. But essentially, dragger is someone that's going to drag the brakes a little bit. So you get out there to a lead, and you're basically running with 2 feet on the pedals. One, just, you know, mashing that gas all the way to the floor constantly, no matter what. And even when you're out here in the draft, when you're back up to full speed, I like to drive with both feet. I like to drive with my left foot on the brake. And if I'm starting to get a little bit too close to the guy in front of me, I'll just drag that brake a little bit. I feel like it gives me a little bit more stability in the car. It's not a big weight shift like getting off the gas and trying to roll a little bit, and, you know, a sudden slow down, and you know, that could really upset the car behind you as well. But Jimmy's more on the other side. He prefers to, you know, kind of just drive it with 1 foot, unless there's a big wreck, then you need that left foot there. But he likes to lift a little bit and let it roll, and he's more comfortable with that. It's to each his own, just like, you know, where you like to run here in the pack. But we're heading back to another green flag here. The long drive through the trial before we get the green flag. And we're back in the restart zone. The 97 back on the loud pedal as Matthew Radford going to lead this thing back to the green. 15 there of TJ Ivey going to take over 2nd position. Spengler going to slide down behind him into 3rd. And I gotta wonder now. You know, we gave out the you know, the T-shirts last night. Obviously, we mentioned Tim Thompson winning one of the T-shirts here, custom T-shirt from Kim's Cups and More, and the other one, Ender Jess, comes in last night, roots on Justin a little bit, gets herself a free T-shirt. Not even in the field here tonight. Doesn't even care what Justin does, the way it seems. I haven't seen anything from Ender Jess. I don't know. Gets a T-shirt and rolls. I get it. I understand. But but either way, Spengler doing a good job right now.
All them thumbs I get out there in the field. You never get thumbs. I think everybody's missing thumbs. Never get thumbs for my videos. Never.
I feel like, you know, if we could somehow change that to a different finger, I feel like we may get more that way.
You probably people out there cussing me out. You messed up how you pronounced my name. There's a finger.
That's my favorite part. That's my favorite part every week. I'm kind of disappointed you've been so good lately. But out front, it is Matthew Radford leading the way, TJ Ivey, Justin Spengler, Matthew Jordan, and Bradley Worley for your top 5. Hartman, Pinkston, Ivy, Douglas Ivy, that is, Helms, and Craighead for your top 10 is Craighead trying to figure out a way to get back up through this field. Diving back and forth here as single file for the first 5, and then already starting to be double file. There's Pinkston on the outside.
Yeah, and I think the 58's trying, one of those drivers that likes to be up front. So trying to get back up there and trying to see what he can do. Going to try to see if he can push Pinkston on the outside, as Pinkston was doing a good job pushing the 58. So maybe a pairing to look for towards the end of the race. It's just needing those two to kind of get together. And there's something.
You see it's working.
It's
you see
definitely
working.
there is something that Pinkston is not doing that could by far make him probably go from the front, or from where they're at now, to the front very quickly. And I'm sure you could spot a car.
Yeah, it looks like just kind of falling back here a little bit, just dancing around a little, and it's one thing, you can definitely go faster with the bump drafting, but you got to keep it. You got to keep it clean, and you got to keep it straight, and you can't dance back and forth, because that's when a hook can come very quickly. And the other thing, not sure if we mentioned it yet, but you cannot push a pusher. And Jimmy, what do I mean by that?
Well, see how the number 5 is behind the 58. If he were to start pushing on the 58 as the 58 is pushing the 22, they would just go for a ride. They would wreck. But the thing that's missing here between this outside line is they are at least a car width and a half from the cars on their left-hand side. No side drafting right at the moment. If those cars were to come down to within about a half a car length, those cars would get something extra known as the side draft, and boy, does it launch you here on iRacing. It allows you to drive up through the field faster than probably anywhere out there. And right now, everybody kind of dancing around, kind of wondering why that outside's falling behind. Now, I do know that the outside with these Gen 6 cars, it doesn't seem to be as good as the inside. Now, for the next gen cars, the outside lane seems to be the preferred lane as they get those huge runs and all that stuff. So it really is about the car setup, but the 22 kind of being out there by himself is going to put him down to the back of the pack. And not, like I said, it's not a huge dig here for the 22. It could be a much safer route, as you know, things can happen as drivers are trying to reestablish going back up to the front. That outside just did not seem to work for just a few cars. So I'm 100% sure, because I've won here at Talladega just a few weeks into on the service at with these exact cars in an open setup, and I won on the outside. So but I had somebody on my tail pushing. I had the side draft going. I even had the guy coaching me a little bit as I was really new. So definitely a memorable moment for me here, getting a win in these exact same cars, probably about 4.5 years ago or so now. So it's definitely a place where I enjoyed running here. But Yates falling back, or excuse me, Pinkston falling back just a little bit. Way back, maybe falling back to pick somebody up, as there's a few drivers back there, the 31, the 21, and 79, still in the lead lap, grouped together here, and maybe just kind of falling back to catch those guys. So then there'll be 4, and it should be pretty safe from being lapped.
Yeah, and it makes me wonder every time we come here and we talk about all these different strategies, and we talk about you're a lifter, I'm a dragger. We talk about where you like to be. You like to be on the bottom. I like to be on the top line. And then we get to the end of the race, and I always say that I don't want to be the leader at the white flag, because I feel like they're the most vulnerable, and more often than not, I'm wrong with that too. So I'm starting to think that you have some success here at the super speedways. I don't like the super speedways. Maybe I need to listen to you, and I need to try something down here. And
I tell my wife that all the time, Carl. She don't listen to me anyways.
Yeah, no, that's a whole different story. It's a whole different podcast that we'll have to start there. But Matthew Radford still leading the way here. It looks like for the most part, single filed out here, and the driver's kind of calming down a little bit. Quarter of the way through this race, still got plenty of racing yet to go. So we'll see what these drivers do. Hopefully, again, we can get stretched out here long enough that they'll have to deal with some green flag pit stops, and that's again where it can be the most fun, at least for us up here in the booth. But I want to thank everyone out there for tuning in here, and if you haven't done so yet, hit that like, that thumbs up. Jimmy likes his thumbs ups.
I do.
And
I like
hit that subscribe if you haven't done so already. But I want to thank our sponsors for the series as well, One Vision, EMS and Transports, and Kim's Cups and More. Can't thank them enough, not just for the series here, but for everything that they helped out with yesterday in the CRN Cup. But we got a nice little run here once again, and I think this is what the drivers need to do. I know it's so easy, again, that you see you get a good run, you can jump to the outside, you can make 2, 3, 4 passes, especially if you find somebody else. So that was a big shot there from the 58. But really, you gotta curb your enthusiasm. You gotta just hang in line, stay there for another 60, 70 laps, really. I mean, you don't need to really push it until you get closer to 5 laps to go. I always say that 10 laps to go, you need to kind of figure out where you want to be. By 5 laps to go, you need to be in that spot, and then maybe 2 laps to go, that's when you need to start sending it and getting your way to the front. But looks like we're gonna go too wide here. The 13/51 of Brennan on the outside didn't hit that wall hard enough to scrape off the numbers. And the 58 of Craig had pushing him, but that's exactly what can happen. You push it just a little bit to the side and it can snap that car loose.
Yeah, and Craighead is trying to get anybody to come out and join them, and obviously it takes some time to work on that cohesion between a push and a pusher, or somebody up front and a pusher. There's some people that are very good at pushing. There's some that are very bad. There's some people that are horrible to push because they can't hold it still. It works both ways, but Craighead doing his best to try to push that 51 up to the front here, and I'm sure they're enjoying it at the moment, but it's going to end up getting a caution here.
Yep, and there it is. Caution flying here on the Speedway, and it's going to be right about here on lap number 30. Tony Brennan involved, Craighead involved, and I mean that's how quickly it can happen. It's bumping in the turns is usually never a good idea, and you bump just a little bit on the wrong spot right there. You see Craighead getting up to the back of Brennan, getting him on the inside, or the left side of the rear. They're not necessarily the quarter panel, but on the left of the rear bumper there, and hooked them straight down to the bottom into the 52 there of Richard Hartman. And I don't think he was expecting to have a car just shoot straight across his nose like that. Like Paul Helms getting involved in that one there a little bit as well. Good avoidance there from the 85. Just keeping it off the wall, but unfortunately for the 72 there of Scott Henderson getting involved in that one. 51 also getting tagged, sent up into the wall. So I guess with the size of the field here, maybe you call this the mini big one, not necessarily the big one that's going to collect 10, 12 cars, but this is going to bring out our second caution.
I mean, 5 cars involved, or maybe even 6. That's about a little over closing in on half the field, Carl. So some drivers are going to have to go in there and make some decisions now, as they do have a couple. I think they have 2 fast repairs, but to go ahead and we're only on lap 31, and anything can happen. We still have 69 laps remaining here to get underneath their belt, so we're still looking at a good hour, almost an hour out here for these drivers to kind of keep tangling with each other. It's like I said, you really kind of got to be patient. There's no rush. I mean, where are you going in the next hour? Nowhere. You're going to be somewhere between here and 2.6 miles around, so you're not going anywhere. Just everybody's running. You can run from the back to the front, but after you get to the front, you're done. So you just have to relax it, take it lap by lap, and just be steady, and just you know, if the guy's bobbling around just a little bit, maybe just wait and let them flounder, get back in line, let them fall back, let somebody else poke their nose out and push them. You know, it's always about picking and choosing your battles, and obviously a tight one there, and you know, fast repairs used, and tires going to be changed as we're on lap 32 of 100, so not quite another fifth down to use another set of tires. So some people might take it, some might not, but here's what the obviously over there on the left hand side you can see how everybody is lined up, and still a few in the pits. Enyart, Ivy, Radford, Jordan, Worley, Ivy, Spengler, Bierman, Garner, Hartz, Kurtz, Pinkston, Reeds, Craighead, Brennan, and Henderson. So that is your 17 drivers and how they will be lined up once we get restarted here at Talladega.
Yeah, I mean, again, like I mentioned before, this is 100 laps long, so you got to treat it like an endurance race. And you know, in any endurance race, you're not going to win it on lap 1. Now, does that mean you're not going to see those 2, 3, 4, 12 drivers making bonehead decisions into turn 1? Now, you pretty much see it every race, no matter what. But you got to be smart about it. I mean, this thing is, it's not going to be won in one lap, except for the final lap. So there's no sense of trying to get up there. I know you may enjoy driving at the front. I know you may want to get up there. I know that's where you're comfortable, but this is your chance to find another comfort zone and, you know, find your way in the middle of the pack and towards the back. It's at some point during the race, you know, maybe at the second half after lap 50, that's when you start trying to you know, you find your friends out there and trying to, you know, start making some moves. See how quickly you can move from 15th up to 5th. You know, see how quick that draft is going to get you up there, because that'll give you some knowledge for later in the race. But I mean, for the first 50, you should just be kind of falling in line and just making sure you're not hitting the driver in front of you and in any kind of wrong way, like we've seen right there. There's really no sense in doing that. But either way, we will get this thing back underway. We got Wade Enyart now on the front row for the 21 here. TJ Ivy starting in second. He kind of joked, and you know, he let us know about his paint scheme here tonight and why he wanted to kind of showcase it. But he wanted to remind me, he's like, I just want to give you some talking points. I don't mean that you need to bring me up here into the booth. So he's not gonna have a choice. He keeps this thing up in the top 3 by the end of the race. He's gonna be talking to us one way or another.
Well, I mean, that is the goal. I mean, who cares about winning a championship? It's how many times you can visit the booth. We joke with the drivers, but every time we get a driver up here, Carl, the excitement, the nerves in their voices, if they've been up here for the very first time, never cease to amaze me. I'm just a normal person, like you know, just like everybody else at home and in your living room and whatnot, just not afraid to talk to a microphone. And to be honest, I'm just talking to Carl like I'm on a phone call with him, so it's not really a super difficult thing to do, but it's amazing to feel the anxiety and like how people feel about you know, being when you're speaking and it's in front of many people. And speaking of many people, and I was looking at stats just today, and obviously we had a great viewership last night with 52 people peeking out and watching CRN at the same time. But no, you know what, Carl? Our numbers and most of our views are currently coming from 191 Motorsports fans. And I looked at the past few broadcasts that we have done, and you know, obviously or after it's completed and all said and done, there's been 200 plus for most of the 191 videos, which is a very good string as of lately. So just wanted to give a big, huge shout out and thank you to all the 191 Motorsports fans here in the CRN Nation for the great support of all the drivers that are out here on the track.
And usually one of the most talkative bunches as well in the chat, and we love to see that as well. Getting ready to go back to green, and here we go, dropping the green flag here once again. Wade Enyart leading them back to the line, as he is your race leader in number 21. TJ Ivy trying to find a way on that outside to get around him. Looks like the 97 of Matthew Radford going to jump to the outside and try and work their way around. And that's exactly what we talked about. You're the leader. You get a good jump. All of a sudden, he's right back to third by the end of turns 1 and 2 there onto the backstretch, and now just hoping that somebody can pick him up. Now down to fourth, down to fifth. It happens very, very quickly as you see the 85 there sliding down to the inside. And we do have an in-race reporter here tonight, but because of the situations where we haven't pulled him up here yet, we'll if we get another caution, we'll try and pull the 31 of DJ Garner up here into the booth to chat with him a little bit, see how he's handling it one hand. I mean, hopefully for his sake, if he's got push to talk, I mean, if he's going to try and drive you in under caution and push to talk, I may not work out too well, but we'll see. We'll try and talk to him here at some point. But out in the front right now, TJ Ivy leads the way. Matthew Radford, Matthew Jordan, Douglas Ivy, and Wade Enyart for your top 5. Then you got Worley, Spengler, Hartman, Bierman, Brennan for your top 10.
Just the outside line just seems to stall every now and then. It really needs a good set of drivers really hooked up in order to get it to work. You see the 5 of Bierman gonna venture out there and has the 51. The 13 and the 22 and the 58, obviously trying to get together. A few people maybe thinking about it. It's not quite working. So you see the 22 of Kingston kind of maybe get a position and then fall back down underneath with the 85. Now laps were 15 going for a ride.
15 down on the bottom. The 97 was down there as well, and I think kind of the same situation there going into turn number 1. Just a bad bump. Looks like we're going to keep this thing green, and actually maybe not a bad bump. Looking back at it, it looks like 15 kind of opened up that inside line a little bit, and then the 97 went to poke his nose in there. I think it was on another lap than this.
Yeah, I might have caught it just a little bit earlier. I was just trying to catch back, obviously kind of see what was going on here as the 15 was leading. And
yeah, this on the backstretch, it was going into turn number 1 where it happened, but we're going to keep it green here. TJ Ivy obviously now way back from the field, and we'll see if he can catch back up. You see it right there. It's a little bit of a window down to the inside for the 97. Maybe thought the 15 was sliding up to that second line, and all of a sudden he came back down, and now he finds himself pretty far back behind this field, trying to regroup here as we take it back up to the front. The 5 of Bierman now leading the way. Matthew Scruffy Jordan on that inside, but he's going to get chopped off there by Bierman, and that almost got a little too close for comfort there, as well as Jordan going to back out of that one. And there we go. There's Ender Jess jumping into the chat. Maybe got the word that we were talking a little smack and had to show up here. But yeah, right now it is Bierman, Brennan battling it for the lead here, and then you got Craighead now working his way back up into the top 3. Jordan and Douglas Ivy for your top 5. But you're looking back towards the back, you got the top 15 kind of right here, all under a blanket, and even have Scott Henderson, I believe, is up here in the mix as well. But that 15, you see that little lonely dot there of the 15 of TJ Ivy, and that is just it's a horrible feeling. It is one of the one of the many reasons why I don't like running these super speedways. But you get caught in a situation like this where you don't get a yellow flag and you're running out here by yourself. I've been in this situation more than once, and it's so lonely as that got a little close right there, 3 wide. And
and they're just really putting the pressure on the number 28, trying to get him to move. He went up to the wall, about to move backwards, so trying to good catch there by 28 and trying to make things better here, but just getting a little bit loose or something. I'm not quite sure what happened there.
28 getting to the back there of Foster Yates, trying to give him a little shove, and yeah, definitely a good call there from Mike, and the fact that TJ is way back there in the field right now, but he kept that 15 clean. He kept it off the wall and got it back up on the track with I would assume very minor damage, if any, maybe to the splitter from going up and down off of that apron, but the car is for the most part still clean. So if he gets a caution, or even if he goes down a lap and then gets a caution, he's still right there in the mix for the lucky dog. But we are leaning green right now, and And it's good that you did end up winning a T-shirt last night, Ender, and talk to Justin to get some of your information. So once we have that, we'll get that in the works and the process. But once again, want to thank Kim's Cups and More for their help and sponsorship of that last night for the CRN Cup. And it's almost a shame that we only do it every 6 months, because I mean there's so much love that we got from all the leagues, from all the drivers, and the support, whether it be financially or even just all the drivers out there on the track. But I guess sometimes absence makes the heart grow fonder, and you give them 6 months to think about it and really gets them amped up and want to do it again.
Yeah, they just makes them want to come back. It's not something that happens all the time, but it's fun. You don't have to worry about doing it every week, because I think if you did it every week, or say once a month, we'd have a good following. But it would turn into its own.
Be watered down a little bit too much.
Yeah, it'd also be its own series. So right now, I think we don't quite need to tackle on another series and running it. We kind of like to have our fun, and like I said, let their hair down, let the drivers come out here, have some fun. Many thanks to all the drivers that participated, all the fans that showed up, for all the sponsors that helped out. It just made the evening a good one. It's being talked about not only here at 191, but all the other leagues. Just how much they thoroughly enjoyed that. They had fun, and can't wait till the next one. So we will have another one. When, we don't know yet, but around the 6 month mark, and it really just depends on the window. We're not going to drop it in the middle of a 24-hour special event that people are running all weekend, but we'll fit it in there when we can, and get the right people together and let everybody know well in advance. So again, just thank you for what happened obviously yesterday. So. But tonight, we are here at Talladega. We're 43 laps in, Carl. We're closing in on that halfway mark. Tony Brennan out front with Cameron Craighead making his way back to P number 2. Douglas Ivey, Bradley Worley, Daniel Pinkston, Richard Hartman, Dale Garner, Matthew Strucky Jordan, Matthew Radford, and Justin Spangler for the top 10.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that is, it couldn't be any closer to the truth, is some of the words that we got from, I believe it was Craig Jancic last night when he was in there for one of his interviews, and he mentioned that how much we do above and beyond. We're not just in here to broadcast. Here's the race. Thanks for your payment, and we'll see you next week. I mean, we really try and stay engaged with all the leagues, and kind of mix it up in the Discord, talking chat, sometimes talking smack a little bit, and sometimes creating our own little rivalries, whether they're rivalries or not. But also once you're yeah, exactly. Once you're kind of in here with CRN, I mean, it's we're kind of a bit of a family, and we try and treat the leagues the same way, and same thing with the fans, and that's why we try and have events like we had last night, where it gives a little showcase to all the leagues, gives them a chance for free recruiting, free chance to get out there and mix it up and have a chance to win some money, but also gives a chance for the fans out there in CRN Nation to get involved, whether it's voting for the drivers of the race, or voting, getting a chance to win yourself a free custom T-shirt from Kim's Cups and More. So definitely, it's what we like. Me and Jimmy enjoy broadcasting regardless. It's been a blast for the last how many years we've been doing it here. Of course, we like getting out there on the track as well, but if it felt like a job, we wouldn't do it as much as we do. It's fun getting out here and watching these drivers get at it. 5 nights a week right now is what we're doing. Last week was 6 with the CRN Cup, but it is getting old, at least up to this point, so we're enjoying it.
Yeah, it's something I always enjoy this. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Carl, we're closing in, just to tell you how busy we actually are here at CRN. It's been 4 years, but we have almost 1,000 CRN videos or races that we have covered here at CRN. So really kind of hitting heights here as those numbers, the longer we're here, obviously, the more we're going to do. See if I can find those numbers as we watch Cameron Craighead and Tony Brennan kind of work their way up to the front here.
Yeah, the other thing is not sure what the pit window is here tonight. Obviously, they last pit on lap number 31. Not going to need it for a little bit yet, but getting close to that halfway mark right now. It is Tony Brennan out front. Cameron Craighead right behind him, giving them the push, and then the 88 of Bradley Worley for your top three. But on the outside line, the other 88 out there. Which is, I believe, actually, well, it looks like the 88. Sorry, it's actually the 85 there of Douglas Ivey, but not really getting too, kind of grouped up in line, and that's why you see him falling back here. But the other one joining the pack here, TJ Ivey, has been reeled in, and now he is right there trying to hang in there, maybe get his lap back as he's just trying to find a way to get in there and enjoy the draft for a little bit. He's been out of it for a while, and it looks like he finally found a spot to slide in there. But now he can finally breathe a little bit again, and he's back in there in the draft as long as they don't spread out here a little bit too much.
Yeah, it's kind of rough. Obviously, the only car towards the back of the pack here. Up to the tower, as you can see where everybody is. I'll need to change this. Yep, so Tim right there, Ivy. So obviously back here in number 16 and a lap down. So Ivy's biggest goal now that he has the pack and he won't get a lap down. Obviously he could try to get the lap back the hard way and get out front, which would benefit him the most. But the biggest thing is to stay out of the trouble. So if a caution were to come out, he can at least receive that lucky dog and get back and get a chance to pit as well instead of just getting the wave around. So, and it's a long time around here, and if you don't kind of get in here when everybody else pits, you're going to be back off pit cycle and end up in the same situation. But right now, last time everybody pit was there on lap 31, lap 49. And you see Enyart there was last in the set. It's saying lap 17.
Yeah, that could be trouble. That's why he had the lead for this past restart. He stayed out of the pits, but that also means that he's gonna have to come in earlier than everyone else and by a pretty big margin. If it was a couple laps, you'd say, okay, well maybe he can find somebody that's willing to go in with him. 14 laps is way too much of a difference, no matter how long the stints are out here on fuel. So that'll be something we'll have to keep an eye on, and maybe not just TJ Ivey trying to get a lap back, and maybe Wade Enyart at some point as well. Scott Henderson, unfortunately, back there in the 72, he is 2 laps down, so he needs a little bit of extra help here to get this thing done. But out front, Tony Brennan still leads the way. Cameron Craighead, Bradley Worley, Daniel Pinkston, and Richard Hartman for your top 5. Bradford, Garner, Bierman, Douglas Ivey, and Matthew Jordan for your top 10. Once again, I want to thank sponsors here for the series, Kim's Cups and more, and One Vision EMS and Transport, as we are about to hit the halfway point of this race.
Yeah, and we're on that lap 50 right now. So once we cross the line here, we will be at the 50% mark. Halfway, and your leader will be at the halfway mark. It's going to be the number 65 on your board, /13 on track, Tony Brennan.
So far, so good on this run. Starting to get, it seems like after 15, 20 laps is when they start getting like, okay, we're getting a little antsy now. And now we're going to go too wide here once again. And hopefully the pushes are straight and clean. You see the 15 right up behind the bumper of Matthew Radford on the outside. But he's got to be smart about this. He is a lap down right now. I know he wants to get up there. I know he's trying to maybe get his lap back the hard way, maybe just trying to stay in that spot. But if he ends up getting involved in the incident, he's not going to get the lucky dog, and he's going to have to stay a lap down and hope for yet again another caution. So you got to be smart about this. I know, what he's trying to do here, but I'm not sure if it's the right move, if it's going to pay off the way he wants to. Either way, he's going to need a yellow flag at some point to try and get that lap back, and we'll see what happens here. Not sure if we're going to get a comp caution here tonight with the race admin here in the race, in the mix. And I don't remember seeing anything in regards to a comp caution here tonight, so we'll see how it works out. But either way, Tony Brennan leading the way. We'll see when and if we get some green flag pit stops.
That might be why Vineyards decide to stay up. Because if that's the case, I mean,
he may be saved by that.
Yeah, he might be saved by that. And, you know, I'm not sure on that. Usually, Daniel says something to us in the chat. I don't know. I don't think he did.
No, I didn't see anything in the chat, and there's nothing in the chat for us in here. So we'll see how it plays out if we're going to have one. But big bobbles back and forth. Some bad bump drafting here again. Looks like the 13/65 going to get back up there on the track. They're going to lose some track position, though, as now the 97 of Radford back out to the lead. Second car in line there, TJ Ivy is the lap car trying to get his lap back, and then to Zane Bierman. Yeah, I was looking at that wrong there. It was Zane Bierman is the one that's in third place in the 5, as it looks like Brennan's going to settle back into 4th place, and it shook up the field here a little bit, but really, as long as you're within about a second, is where you can really grab the draft of the car in front of you. That was a bit of a bold move there by the 58, getting back in line. I think he thought about going to the outside, and then he tucked back in line. But it is single file for the first 5 cars plus a lap car. It's really dancing around now. It looks like the 58 gonna go to the outside here and try and make his own lane.
Yeah, you see Craighead trying to make moves and get people kind of guessing. It's gonna start breaking up the draft, and trying, obviously drivers maybe want no part of that, as we're at the 50, we're only halfway, and maybe they're down a fast repair already, and not trying to find themselves down to the point where they can't get that car fixed if something happens. It's really kind of early to make any very aggressive moves. 45 laps remaining is way too soon. No matter how good you are on a track, you're not going to run away on a super speedway.
No, not at all. The only way you're going to run is if you lose a draft, you're going to run backwards, and they're going to catch up to you, which is what happened with TJ Ivy. Still waiting for a caution, but again, if we get a green flag pit stop here, that could be the cause of one of the cautions, and that's where it can really throw things a bit haywire, because if you're stretching that fuel out all the way to the end and then coming in the pits and all of a sudden a caution comes out, you're kind of forced to come in and take that penalty, because you're not going to make it around another lap on fuel. So you got to come in there, and hopefully it's only a end of line penalty and not a pit under green kind of penalty. So we'll see how everything plays out, but right now it's back to single file for the most part. Couple side by side back there in the back with look like Matthew Jordan, and I believe if that was, I'm not sure if that was Paul Helms or if that was Scott Henderson towards the back. Now Paul Helms right there on your screen, but couple different groups right now as you're taking a look at the track map. You see the majority of the field, the top looks like 11 plus the lap car up there in the first group, and then about the whole backstretch is what separates the rest of the field, as you see right there at the front of this one, the 79 of Foster Yates leading the second little group here, but they are a pretty good margin back. They're going to need a caution at some point just to get back up in this mix, but plenty of time for that yet, and unfortunately for Wade Enyart, he's going to have to pull out of line here and come down and make his pit stop.
These drivers should be coming in the next 14 laps. That's going to put them at 71. And just kind of referencing Wade's fuel mileage here and being back, and obviously probably being tucked up, trying to save as much as possible. So right around that 70 lap mark, Carl, we should start seeing green flag pit stops maybe a little sooner. If you get a group of people, they might break off and decide to kind of come in and get, if you have a team of guys or people at least working there, they're going to come down in together, take their pit stop and get back out there. If a caution were to come out, everybody else has got to come in and go end up being out front. So not a bad move if you've got a group that will come in and work together and you can make it the rest of the way. It does look like I think they should make it all the way, because let's see, it was like 17 to 58 to 57. So
yeah, one more pit stop. One more pit stop.
Couple
Should
more
be good.
laps.
Well, Wade in here, not sure if he'll be able to make it to the end. He's the only one that may be a little bit close, but the rest of the field, once they make their pit stops here in the next 10 laps or so, they should be good to go. But yeah, it doesn't look like, we talked about friends. I'm not sure how many friends that 58 right now is of Cameron Craighead is making out there. He is certainly trying to put some moves on some of these drivers. It's gotten now Douglas Ivey, the 85, is your new leader out there in second place. Matthew Radford right behind him, and then on that outside line, Cameron Craighead trying to get it to work. It's like Pinkston getting into the back of the 58, but you see, even if you catch it flush and go right in the middle of that back bumper, you could still get that car a little bit wobbly. And once you start getting some close racing here, utilize that side draft, that's where you can have some major incidents. But as it stands right now, we're lean and green, about to hit lap number 60. And Jimmy, I think it's about time we do kind of what you're doing right now. Crank these cars up and give everyone out there in Sierra Nation a little love to hear it.
Crank it up. Hey, let's hear it. green flag pit stops on the horizon here on lap 67. A few drivers still coming in. Obviously, the rest of the field is this would be your backpack here, all coming in together. You've seen the first group of drivers come in, and some of the drivers having some issues with the pit stall, and then a few maybe coming in too fast. So we're gonna go back out front here, and it does look like Cameron, Craighead, Bradley, Worley, and Douglas Ivy all being able to kind of stick together, those three drivers, and then everything is kind of working its way out here as the 64 is down and away. See them tires kind of making a difference here. It's when everybody comes in, they kind of got to do the same pit strategy, and hopefully they have the same times to get together, or everybody's going to be waiting up just a little bit, Carl. But I think this is our first green flag pit stop here.
It is. It's the first green flag pit stop of the night, and this is. You see the Skittles on the map. We got them all over the place right now. And this is Brennan trying to rejoin the top spots here right now. That is first, second, and third. Now Brennan going to drop in, but he's a lap down. He did not have a good entry into the pits. Got a hold in pit road, and he is going to have to try and fight to get a lap back now, as it is really a breakaway now. The top three, you see him right there on the screen. Craighead, Worley, and Ivy, and then you got a pretty sizable gap, about 5.5 seconds, almost 6 seconds back to Justin Spengler, who's got a 1.5 second gap in between him and another two-car tandem of Pinkston and Garner Jr. Radford, Hartman, Helms, and Yates going to round out your top 10, but you see it is all spread out right now at Talladega, barring a caution. This could be your three interview drivers right here. They are by far away from the rest of the field.
Yeah, and that's kind of how it works out. It's really how they execute them pit stops, and correctly. It's obviously a little better to kind of be a little bit slower and timid coming into these things, and then hot and heavy, and then next thing you know, you're sitting for 45 seconds. So it's good to lose, maybe a half a second or a quarter second coming in, making sure that you hit that mark properly and correctly, and get the most out of it instead of right at the edge, and instead of holding penalties. I got up on the screen here the pit lap that they came in, and then how long they were down in there. The first number is the pit stall time, and then obviously when you see the big numbers like that for Jordan and Bierman, Brennan, where it says 54 seconds, that would indicate to us as up here in the booth that they had a penalty, along with because the drivers that were down there in the boxes for like 15.7. Look at Worley with a 13.8. That's an amazing pit box time. But maybe it was a little bit shorter because he only took 2 tires, or he had a little bit less fuel to take. So that's why you see a little bit of variance between some of them. And then so obviously the pit lane time there is the next row over, so that's the total time. With the time down pit lane, in the box, and out. You can see again how those big losses there by a few of your favorite drivers. But right now I'm going to drop that information for everybody, and we'll just stick with what we have right now, and that's our games. Worley up 10 spots. Craighead starting on the pole is in first position at the moment. Worley up 10 spots in P number 2, and then Ivy up 4 spots in P number 3. Then back here in P number 4 is going to be Spengler, up 2 spots, so doing great there. And then Pinkston up 10 spots with Garner, Mr. One-Hand Driver himself, has found himself up 11 spots in P number 6. 7th place is Matt Radford. 8th is going to be Rich Hartman. 9th is Paul Helms, and then you have in 10th Foster Yates. They were driving back a little bit farther in the pack. And they're now not in the back, they're in the middle. Christopher Kirk's back there in 11th, all by himself. He'll find himself falling back to these two drivers here, Matthew Jordan and Zane Bierman, with having a little bit of issues. But Zane's up 3 spots. Tony Brennan back here in P number 14, in the middle of this, or in the tail end of the leaders here. And then Wade Inyard, TJ Ivy, and Scott Henderson still out here for tonight. So The gap there on the side there, you can see that Brennan, Inyart, and Ivy are all 1 lap down. Henderson 3 laps down.
And it kind of goes back to what we talk about all the time is practice, practice, practice. And we're not talking about on the track, we're talking about pit stops. So you gotta work on pit stops. And I always say, you know, as many laps as you put out there on the track, that's how many attempts you should go into the pits. And I know it may sound like an exaggeration, but you are going to gain or lose more time with pit stops than you will with anything else. I mean, if you get a race that you never have to make a green flag pit stop, great. Then you figured out what you got to do on the track. But they're so easy to gain tenths of a second, even up, you know, to seconds, you know, in the pit stops here under green. It is so easy to gain that much time by just nailing everything and your competitors having a little bit of slip-ups. But more importantly, avoiding penalties. I mean, you know, here is probably arguably the easiest pit road to get in all of iRacing. Here in Daytona, you got a long way to just get down on that apron, brake as you know, earlier, as late as you want to, need to, and get down into pit road. But you can easily overshoot it, like you seen, I think it was Zane Bierman off into the grass, and you get a penalty that quickly. And he's seen the times. It's typically if you get an unsafe entry or speeding at any point before your pit stall, you're going to get a 40-second time hold. And that's exactly what happened to 3 of those drivers out there. I think it was Jordan, Bierman, and Brennan. It just kills your race unless you get a caution to get back up there. So you gotta practice pit stops. It's the biggest thing out here, especially on these super speedways. Not that there's, you know, not racecraft out here to figure it out and go fast, but typically from 90% of the race, you're just going to be stuck behind somebody drafting or having somebody draft you. So you don't need to practice that much. Practice getting in and out of pit stops. So you've even seen 97, Matthew Radford came in as the leader, back and forth because he missed his pit box. He was too close to the wall, and he had to rework that car 3, 4, 5 times back up and going forward. That's why you see he is currently 13.5 seconds off of the lead right now, back here with the 15 of TJ Ivy, still trying to get himself back on the lead lap. So at least he's got somebody to draft with. But it pretty much killed his race, and it's all because of not hitting your marks in the pit road.
And to feel yourself struggle with a bad pit stop, been there, done that, slid through the box, back up, says you're too far left, back up and try to move, jockey the car around. It says no, and then no, and then no, and then no, and you just get so frustrated with yourself, and you're like, I'm there, and you're screaming at yourself. Hopefully you don't have an open mic, and then it just, you feel like, for lack of better words, ass, because you just jacked up the number one thing in racing. So your pit stop. You need to learn how to stop. You need how to take gas. You need to take tires. You need to know how to do that. If you don't know how to do that, and if it's a weak point and you know it, and you know it now, you want to get in and hopefully within the following races continue to practice your pit stops. Maybe focus more on pit stops than on actually getting, you know, the fastest lap you can run, a qualifying lap on the track. It will pay you bigger dividends in the end, knowing that you can pit stop properly.
Yeah, everyone wants to be the hot lap hero and turn the fastest lap and get that pole, but it's the person that gets in and off pit road. Those are the ones that I'm looking at, and those are the ones that typically have your better chances of winning. And that's why you see a 3-car breakaway right now with Craighead, Worley, and Ivy at the front. But a bit of a gaggle back here, and this is not what these guys can afford to do. You don't want to go too wide. You want to go single file here. You got to try and do what you can to try and maybe catch up to any other cars out there in the field. But you see how far behind they are from the next set of cars. It's kind of 3 or 4 groups of cars out there on the track right now.
Bierman and Jordan have got around the 58 of Craighead, so this puts them back on the lead lap. They are, you know, obviously in danger of going a lap down, but they can lead this thing. If a caution were to come out, they'd come right back around and be right in the battle of this. Brennan right now would be in your lucky dog position, sitting back there in P13. He's in this front group as well, so obviously probably an aggressive group at the moment, but right now the 58 is where he would like to be leading. The 5 and 23 are where they would like to be, based on the current circumstances. and hopefully run this thing out. But yeah, we talked to Bradley Worley. If I'm not mistaken, our first race, it was Daytona, right?
It was, yes.
Yeah, and I think it was Bradley Worley that walked away the winner from a super
yes.
a super speedway.
And look who's in second.
Yeah, a super speedway win. So the 88 looking to go back to back on these super speedways. You know, we always joke around that anybody can win here at a super speedway, and that is 100%, I say 99% true. And it's because there is a little bit of talent that it takes for certain moves and when to make them. In order to make a block and to keep your run, to know how to draft and know how to push, all that stuff and above. And the 88 is showing that here at 191. That come the end of the race, that he's going to try to have that car to the front in position to win. And the 88 is in prime position to walk away a winner here tonight, behind that 58. Now, we have seen the 58 be pretty aggressive tonight. I will not lie. I think somebody said it best. It was Mike. He said it looks like the 58 has drank a whole case of Mountain Dew. And it is evident that in some of his decision makings and aggressiveness that he might be jacked up on Mountain Dew, of course. But we love the racers out here, and we were watching the entertainment unfold here live. We still have 20 laps remaining with Craighead, Worley, Ivy for your top three, Pinkston, Garner, Spangler, Radford, Helms, Yates, Hartman for your top 10.
Again, what's kind of interesting is Worley is the only driver out here that can have multiple wins here on the season. If Worley does not win, we're going to have another new winner here in the series, as Mike Casey, your points leader, 2 wins on the season, not here tonight. Certainly chatting it up out there, watching these drivers go around. Jason Chrisman, he's got to win. He's second place in the points, not here tonight. Bradley Worley, third place in the points, got that 1 win at Daytona. The only other winner in the series was Joe Sanchez, just kind of a one-hit wonder out here getting his win, but nobody else has won. This is race number 6 here on the season, and we're going to have a brand new winner unless Bradley Worley can take away both of the super speedway wins here for the season. But Cameron Craighead right now is the one that is out front, looking to try and get it done here. And you aggressive or not, he's got the car at the right spot at the right time, but there's still not a time left. We still got about 18 laps to go.
So many laps, and it seems like such a small number, Carl. But 19 laps, that's 19 times 2.66, which is a lot of mileage still. A lot of mileage still remaining here, and it takes time. It's obviously right around probably the 15-minute time frame. The driver still going to be in the car, so we're looking right around probably ending the race right around 7:15. Which is plenty. The drivers will be in the car roughly 2 hours. Ooh, a little rough bump there by 23. Probably just a little nudge and say, "Come on, don't let off. We need to stay in front of the 58 in case a caution does come out." So, but everybody kind of everybody's kind of spread out, and I think everybody kind of knows what they need to do right about now. And it's just going to be if something happens, it's going to be between some drivers trying to gain an extra position here for maybe some points in the championship. So we'll see what happens here, but I don't think anything's going to happen prior to about 5 laps ago.
Say that now, Jimmy.
I'm saying
but we've seen these drivers get racy after about 10-15 laps, and it's been about 10-15 laps since the last caution or the last set of pit stops here. So I know the field's spread out, but I wouldn't be surprised if that lead pack starts to get a little bit shaken up. You see already, looks like Brennan getting passed here by the 51 of Christopher Kurtz, as this is the battle back here for what is the lucky dog position. Now Kurtz in the lucky dog spot. We see Brennan fighting back on the outside. So this is the race within the race. Both these drivers want to be in this position if the caution comes out. And you see Kurtz not letting Brennan get back in there. He said, "You can try past me. You're going to stay on that outside." And he's going to force Brennan back to the back here again.
There's nothing Brennan can do. Brennan is in by far probably the hardest part or hardest position to get by this pack. He has to get the run on the outside like he is now, then get into the corner, and hopefully he's got enough side draft. So he needs to come down. He needs, like right now, he's too high, way too high. No side draft, he's gonna fall behind. That's just what's gonna happen to that Brennan back there, and then number 65. Unless he gets that run, gets that draft, comes alongside, and then has to play chicken with the side of the 51 and use the 85 and get that side draft going. He's too far out. Right now, he's way too far out. It is literally a half a car's width that you need to be within in order to catch that side draft.
And maybe just kind of testing it out right now, seeing what he needs to do to get the run, because the 51 kind of keeps giving gaps in between him and the 85, and now the 85 gets into the 88, and again, you don't want to push the pusher. If you're not second in line, you don't really want to be bumping the car as Brennan gets another good run, but just not good enough, not going to clear the 51 this time by. And at the front of this field, it is Bierman and Jordan, but they're just running, trying to stay on the lead lap right now. The third car in line is actually your leader. That is Cameron Craighead coming back to the line. We got 14 laps to go. Craighead, Worley, and Ivy are the only three up there in that top group, and really the only ones essentially with a chance to win this. But now, what's happening with our drivers here at the back of this pack, battling for that last lucky dog position? Looks like they're starting to lose the pack here a little bit, battling each other. And they better watch out. They're going to lose this front pack, and it looks like Brennan just going to clear now, and they're going to have to work together to get back up to this pack.
Yeah, I mean, I think obviously the 51 wanted to hold on to his position, and did what he could to try to hold on to that. Finally, maybe just deciding that, like, hey, all right, we're too far back now. Now I need to get a run back on the 65 in order to get around him. But how much are they going to work together? I mean, right now their only saving grace is to be in front of one or the other, and hopefully catch that lucky dog in order to get back in the lead lap and have a chance here for the final run. Right now you have Jordan and Scruffy. Yeah, Jordan. Yeah,
Jordan and Bierman at the front.
And Bierman, yeah, in the front of the 58. They're in a prime position to. Caution comes out, they go. There's nothing. They can just go right around, get kept right back up, and they're on the lead lap. But they need a caution to come out, but they don't need to be in the caution. And I'm sure many other drivers would like the attempt in order to come up here and talk to the podium. If not, we're looking at our podium finishers right now. Cameron Craighead, Bradley Worley, and Douglas Ivy. All I got to do is keep it together. You know, as long as they're happy where they're at, they're going to walk away a good finish. I mean, I can see maybe Worley trying to get the win in order to replicate multiple super speedway wins here come towards the end. So that could be weighing maybe heavy on his shoulders, or maybe just gather a great points night and not push the issue with the 58. 58, I think, is pretty fine. Just kind of just sitting here drafting the 23 and the 5. They're in no way, shape, or form a threat to the 58 currently, unless the caution comes out. So we'll see if these drivers can keep it together. We're down to 12 laps. So coming down, I need 7 more laps out of these drivers before things kind of start getting pushy.
Well, they're not a threat position-wise to that 58, but I think he's gonna want to move out before the end of this race, because I wouldn't want to let my fate up to essential at this point lap cars in front of me to drag me along and not make a mistake and help me get the win. I think he's going to want to pull out here so he can try and make sure he can do some blocking and keep Worley and Douglas Ivy behind him. So we'll see if and when he makes that move. So it's fine right now. I'm sure he doesn't mind just hanging back here, getting the draft and clicking away the laps. But we're coming to 10 laps to go this time. Certainly, don't mind him still out there until like maybe 5 laps to go, and then I would think he's going to want to try and work around them and put them officially a lap down, and then worry about the guys he's battling for first.
There's so much space between a lot of these drivers' cars. Just obviously, here's a 22 of Daniel Pinkston sitting in P4, and just
18 seconds behind.
18 seconds back. That's just crazy. And then obviously, look back there, Matthew Rapper in the 97 was 15 of Ivy's he's dragging Ivy around. And then back to Paul Helms in the 64, which is even farther back. Tagging along with the 70 net.
The 79, yep.
Yeah,
Foster Yates.
With the 52 of Richard Harmon. So,
Yep.
Yeah, here's the mid-pack battlefield. Not very big here tonight. they need to hold hands and sing Kumbaya.
Well, hold that thought. We've got a caution here. Matthew Radford looks like he might have been involved in one. And it looks like the Voodoo. Oh, looks like right there, Ivy and Radford trying to get a hold of it. Not going to happen here. And to the likings out there of Renee and Mike, you got your wish that your Voodoo worked. The yellow is going to come out here, and it is a late yellow that's going to get a bunch of cars all back together here for one last run. It was locked in. We had our 3 for the podium, unless they wreck themselves. Now, it's just about anyone's game out there that's still in the lead lap.
Yeah, so 12 drivers now becoming getting back on the lead lap. That's going to be Cameron Craighead, Bradley Worley, Douglas Siley, Daniel Pinkston, Justin Spengler, Dale Garner Jr. hanging in there. Matthew Radford, Paul Helms, Foster Yates, Richard Hartman, Zane Bierman, and Matthew Scuffy Jordan. Last drivers on the lead lap as of right now. And then Tony Brennan, I believe, will be the lucky dog.
He's in line to get the lucky dog this time by now. The question is, do you give up track position here and come into the pits? I know we said earlier track position doesn't matter. Now here at the end, I think you got to be smart. Maybe the other drivers that came from the back there, Zane Bierman and Matthew Jordan, maybe you decide for them. Yeah, it's a good idea to come in the pits. Looks like Paul Helms, Foster Yates, Richard Hartman also going to come in. Zane Bierman and Matthew Jordan into the pits as well. So this is now going to be the race to the end here. We should have about 5 laps to go before this thing is over. Who you got? Who do you think can get this thing done? I mean, Cameron Craig has led a bunch out here. He's been aggressive enough to keep himself up at the front. Bradley Worley already a winner here for Speedways. Douglas Ivy looking for his first win. Now you got Justin Spengler getting back up there as well. Dale Garner Jr. up there will... I still don't know if we want to pull him in during the race here with with one hand. So we'll wait till after the race to talk to Dale Garner, regardless if he finishes in the top 3 or not. But then you got Matthew Radford, Daniel Pinkston, Richard Hartman, Paul Helms, Zane Bierman for your top 10. Matthew Jordan and Foster Yates are your cars currently on the lead lap. 12 cars on the lead lap. Actually 13 with Tony Brennan once he gets back around here. But we may have more before this thing is over, because now it's pretty much getting close to go time here. You're going to have to try and figure out what you need to do to get this thing to the end, and that could mean some more cautions before this thing is over.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's a super speedway. It takes about 1 full lap for the cars to wind up, and then obviously with them fighting for position, it's going to be... I wouldn't be surprised to see another mistake made trying to make or force a move, or hesitate to make a move for something to happen. But we're under caution right now. We still have 8 laps to go, and by the time we get back to go on the green, we'll go around this time and at least 1 more. So we should have about 6 laps to go when we go back to the green.
Well, at least Mike Casey's getting to see his favorite driver out there on the track. The pace car back out there with the yellow. I know it's essentially why he wanted the yellow flag, to see his favorite car out there once again. But either way, we're going to see this thing to the end here. We'll see what happens if we can get this thing straight to the end. Very interesting. And they pit on lap number 66. It is 34 laps to get to the end, but if you have some green-white checkers, you probably don't want to give up track position to come in and take any more fuel. I mean, you had your chance right there. That was probably your best chance to come in and top off if you really were worried about it. But now, double filing back up. We're going to go green, 6 laps to go.
Yeah, Pinkston, Hartman, Helms, Yates, Bierman, and Jordan all probably getting a small splash of gas and maybe some right side tires at least. It's going to be interesting to see if they can get them things to work here with just a few laps to go. Obviously, need to be careful, be a little patient as these laps come down and wind. The lights are off on the pace car. They're working their way down the backstretch right now, coming out of turn number 2. We're going to get ready for a fantastic finish. Throw up in the chat who you'd like to see the win at this current moment. Or can you guess the winner here for Talladega?
We're about to find out. Again, it's going to be Cameron Craighead, Bradley Worley on that front row, Justin Spengler, Douglas Ivey on row number 2. And I think from Spengler on back, they are happier than a pig in you-know-what to just be up here and now back with a chance at this win after being 18-plus seconds behind the leader, which just seems like an eternity here at Talladega. Now, all of a sudden, they can see the leader, and they have a chance once again to get a win, but maybe more importantly, come up and talk to us. Let's be honest here, what these drivers are actually out there rooting for and racing for. But either way, it's going to be Cameron Craighead that's going to lead him off the jump here. Now, the question is, we talked about it earlier, didn't seem like he was making too many friends working his way through this field. Does he have any to help him here to the end?
I don't know. I mean, it depends on how many feathers you ruffle on your way to the front, Carl. You can be hung out to dry. I mean, you can be fast and good here, but if you can't defend 4 or 5 lanes of traffic, so all I have to do is let you hang out and dry. So we'll get them underway here. A little bit of a bobble by the Bradley Worley in that number 88, but is able to collect it, keep it going, and it allows a 58 to kind of jump out front. So good save by the 88 of Bradley Worley. The 28 checking up, and the 97 gathering everything up to make things stay green here. You see the 58 jump up front, but they get together. 88 in the wall, down off the track, into the 31, and the 88 spins around as everybody drives away.
I know we don't have a vote for driver of the race in this one, but I don't know if anybody can vote against anyone but the 31. First of all, what he's going through here tonight, driving one-handed. How in the hell did he save this car with just one hand? Maybe he's got to drive one-handed normally. I mean, the 88 gets shot directly into the side of him. Hopefully there's not too much damage. I guess maybe just hit him in the perfect spot, but look at that. I mean, how sideways he was. He just drives away like, just swatting a gnat. Just nothing happened.
What was that?
A squirrel?
Guys?
What a save there from the 31. And you see how quick it happened. You see the 58 went up there to the top to try and block a little bit. Gets into the 88, or the Bradley Worley gets into the back of him and shoots him up into the wall, and that's what started this incident here. Quite a few cars mixed up in this one. Now, this could be an opportunity for Christopher Kurtz. I'm not sure if he got involved in this incident here or not, but if he didn't, maybe having another lucky dog here, another driver with a chance to get up there, so we'll see what happened. But, yeah, Bradley Worley, unfortunately, getting involved in this one. Looks like Daniel Pinkston was also involved. And quite a few others. You see Spengler involved there.
Yeah, try to keep an eye on
the 22. You see him getting shot to the inside. But what a move right there.
Stays clear. That's going to allow, like you said, Christopher Kurtz to get on the lead lap. Probably holding his breath here right now. Like, don't touch me. I'm in lucky dog heaven.
Yeah, not so much for the 22. There's a 22. I think really shot to the inside wall, and maybe some major damage there for Pinkston.
Oh yeah.
And it looks like he may have gotten away at least, and maybe able to drive that thing back. But quite a few cars coming into pit road to get some repairs done here. Looks like Kurtz, trying to see if Kurtz is going to get that wave around here. Still in the back, as they'll come to the line. He would get the wave around this time by, if he is allowed to, and we'll see. Yep, he is going to pull out to the outside, and we're going to have 14 cars on the lead lap unless cars are tied up getting repairs done on pit road. But Cameron Craighead still leads the way. Douglas Ivey now in second. The one-handed wonder in third place right now. The 31 trying to get it done here. And I guess if he gets in the top 3, no matter what, we're going to have to interview him. But either way, we're going to pull him in regardless of where he finishes here tonight and give him his due. for the in-race reporter. We didn't get a chance to talk to him pre-race. Don't want to pull him in during the race. He's got enough to worry about right now. Zane Bierman in 4th, Richard Hartman in 5th, then we got Foster Yates, Brennan, Jordan, Bradford, and Helms for your top 10. But we still got, looks like every driver still in the race. I mean, even Scott Henderson back there. Unfortunately, Henderson has kind of just had his own race all race. Unfortunately, got stuck a couple laps down early and is still back there 3 laps down. So good to see him still out there clicking laps away. Surprisingly, I mean, we've kept it pretty clean for the most part and haven't lost any drivers here in the race. So that's why he's still stuck back there in 17th. Maybe Daniel Pinkston might be done for the night, still in the pits. We'll see if he comes back out with that 22. But we're going to have, I believe, a green-white checker. We'll see if we get the other one to go this time by, if it's going to be an unofficial one, or if we're going to go straight to the 2 to go here, and then it'll be an official green-white checkered. So we'll see this time by. But this is, again, not surprised that we get another caution here as we're coming towards the end.
Yeah, I mean, it's Talladega, and I always, and I've had this conversation with you before, like, oh, it's the end of the race. Like, if you can keep it clean in the middle of the race, you should be able to keep it clean at the end of the race. There's no reason just to give an excuse to drive recklessly because it's the last lap. That's the worst answer I've ever. I don't accept it from any driver. Like, oh, it's the last lap. I was going for the win. It doesn't matter. No, you still got. If you're in real life, you'd be out there. You'd be a lot more cautious. I get this is virtual, but I mean, people are trying, and you just gotta just pick and choose your battles. You know, if you're gonna be in second, be in second. I mean, it's okay. It really does. By the end of the season, it's based on who's got the best average, not who has the most wins or who wrecks the most people when it comes to a championship. And if you do have a bad race, it's what you can do with those bad races and how you can finish them out, which can be essentially win you a championship. So how do you overcome diversity and a challenge and stuff like that? And like this, you know, we talked about diversity here tonight, and you can't get any more diverse than one-handed driving in a virtual simulator, rising 14 spots and currently sitting in P number 3. Let's give a hands up for Dale Garner Jr.
Well, just a hand up. Let's
no hands up. Keep it on the hand. Keep it on the steering wheel, Dale.
just give me a hand. All I need is one. But either way, yeah. I mean, it's not to plug, any other games here. Obviously, broadcasting iRacing, but that's why I'm looking forward to. There's a video coming out, I believe, in the fall. I'm not going to talk about the name or anything like that. You can look it up yourself, but it is supposed to be very realistic, and especially when it comes to keeping your finances in line. And it's going to be more along the lines of you drive it, you wreck it, you're gonna have to pay to get it fixed. And it's exactly we've tried to do it a couple times, or just kind of in the background in core, just to see how it will work out. But you have to if you are racing in the career mode and you don't have enough money to fix your car for the next weekend, you don't get to race. I mean, it's that simple, and that's how it is in real life. Unfortunately, there's no good way to simulate it here in iRacing, and it looks like we're going to extend the caution here 1 lap. And what that's going to mean is we're going to go from an unofficial green-white checkered to using up one of our green-white checkers here, because this is 3 laps to go right now. We're going to get the green. I'm sorry, I think it's 3 laps to go, so it's 2 laps to go right now at the line. So yeah, we're going to get a green-white checkered here. We're going to have 2 attempts at it. This will be attempt number 1.
Yep. So using up the green-white checker attempt as the pace car is back out. Could you only imagine if that's real right now? Surprise!
Okay, please.
I mean, I'm telling you, Carl, it's there. Like, there's no reason that they can't make it a real object. I mean, we have AI racing, but there's a few tracks that AI does not go to, and I think that's what might hold things up just a little bit. So let's see what they can do. Obviously, you can have more cars out on track. It is a thing. You can add a AI roster to your races, and when individuals don't show, you can have 40 car races. But you might have AI winning. So depending on how tough you make their intelligence, it will really depend on how fast they can be. And Carl, I don't know how they do it. Obviously, I think they just use Iracing setups, but I mean, if you crank those things up to alien-like, you're like, there's no friggin' way they can go that fast on that crappy setup.
I haven't tried it yet myself.
Yeah,
I haven't dabbled with the AI. There's enough real drivers that can beat me out here. I don't need that can beat me too. I mean,
the names like that, like Earnhardt Jr. and all
right,
that got out there. You know?
Even better. So at least maybe I can use that as an excuse. Oh well, Junior beat me, so it's right. Okay. I just don't have the speed. But
exactly.
Well, we still don't know who's going to win this one out here tonight. It is again Cameron Craighead on the front row. We've seen what happened on the outside last time, though. We've seen a little bit of a spin from the 88 of Worley trying to get those tires fired off. We'll see what happens this time on the restarts. Now you got the 85 Douglas Ivy on the outside, but how about Zane Bierman? He is now in 4th place, but what a restart here, and already the 31 thought about going to the outside and maybe is going to go to the outside here. The 31 of DJ Garner looking to get to the front and battle with Craighead here. He's going to make the pass
with no help.
But here comes the field. Here comes the freight train of everyone else. They're going to get up to him very quickly, already to the side. The 85, huge run here down the backstretch. Zane Bierman, give him a shove. We're going to have another caution. And the 13 involved, the 52 involved. Big impact down on the inside. We'll take a look back and see how this transpired. And a bad bump here once again. You got to be careful with these bump drafts. And unfortunately, it looks like Matthew Bradford also involved in this one, just kind of stuck there with the 13. Don't look like too much damage, and hopefully he can get that 97 back out there, but some big damage to the back end of the 13 and to the front end of the 52. Although, again, these things are just tanks. They hardly seem like they take any kind of damage.
The old tire
and
the old damage model.
It's got to be. But now we got some new leaders at the front. Cameron Craighead was the leader on that restart. He's back to 5th right now as Douglas Ivy, your new leader, Zane Bierman, Dale Garner back in 3rd here once again, but 3rd place was a good restart for him last time. We'll see what happens this time. Foster Yates and Cameron Craighead for your top 5. Jordan now up into 6th. Helms, Radford, Spengler, Worley for your top 10. So the 88 not out of it just yet. We got to get a second green white checkered here. So hopefully we will get this thing done under green, but there's a good chance we may end up seeing another yellow. This thing could end under yellow, and we don't want to see that.
We're also looking at Zane Bierman, that was in on lap number 92. Foster Yates was in on lap number 92. Spread a little mix of drivers that were in on lap 66, Carl. The laps are starting to push that envelope where they're at the end of their fuel mileage. So do they have enough fuel to make it?
Yeah, this could get very interesting, and of course the drivers starting the outside are going to be back to back there with Bierman and Yates, the ones pitting on lap number 92, and even throw Matthew Jordan there as well. They'll be back to back on the outside, and if I were them, I'd just team up together right now and hopefully drive around those drivers on the inside. Hopefully they burn off enough fuel that you can get this thing done. A couple drivers in the pits, but really just the ones that were mixed up in the incident there, the 52 of Hartman and the 65 of Tony Brennan. But how is this thing going to play out? I mean, we got one last chance to get this thing done here tonight. Second green, white checker. The pace car lights are still on as the 21 there of Wade Enyer going to get the wave around, and that'll give us 14 cars once again back on the lead lap. Unfortunately, DJ Ivy, the one lone one that's going to end up finishing a lap down here, because no chance in any more cautions here tonight. Can Douglas Ivy get it done from the number 1 spot? Again, I said it earlier in the race. I'll say it again, and I'll say it every time, because I just don't believe that leading at the white flag is the right place to be. But right now, he's going to be leading this field back to.
I agree with you, Carl, but that's the position
that's
the position I was in when I won my race here at Talladega. We had a caution right before the end, and I started on the outside, and I ended up winning this thing. But I was in P1. I was the starter car. So, and it happened.
Well, we'll see who's got what it takes to get this thing done here. Hopefully we do get the white flag and the checker flag here tonight. I mean, if we get the green and we don't take the white flag, if we get another yellow, that will end the race and the field will be frozen from there. But we're going to try and get this thing back to the white flag and then the checker flag. But should be getting the one to go this time by, and then we'll get that second and final green, white, checkered. Want to thank everyone once again for tuning in here tonight. If you haven't done so yet, hit that thumbs up, make Jimmy happy, and hit that subscribe if you haven't.
Thumbs around here, baby.
One hand, one thumb. That's all we need. It's certainly all Dale Garner's need, right? But it's been fun out here. It's 100 laps, and now going into overtime, we're gonna have it's like about 106 laps here at Talladega. Thank you to Kim's Cups and more, and One Vision EMS and Transports as well for the sponsorship here for the series. But this is it. It is beyond go time now. It is into overtime, and Zane Bierman, remember him? He was the one that was leading the pack when he was trying to just stay from going a lap down. He's now on the outside trying to get this thing to the checker flag on top of the boards. Douglas Ivey, though, going to start on the inside in first. You got Dale Garner on the inside in row number 2. Foster Yates on the outside. Cameron Craighead has led a bunch of laps here tonight. We'll see how aggressive he is to try and get through the field here. Matthew Jordan in 6th. Paul Helms, Matthew Radford, Justin Spengler, and Christopher Kurtz for your top 10. Who can get it done here tonight? Who's going to be able to survive these last couple laps here? Can we get it back to the white flag? Coming down the backstretch here, we'll get the green flag this time by.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and back up this is what I like to do when I'm at an actual racing event. Spotting for drivers is I get into my far chase. I bring the camera back just a little bit and I bring it up so you can kind of get a better overview here. I'll bring the HUD down in just a second here, folks, and then you can kind of see around the driver himself. So you can see behind him, you can see in front of him, and the best part is you can look out forward. But I think I'm going to readjust that just a little bit here, and I kind of bring it down a little bit so you can see more of the more of the back here. There we go. Back this way here. So good chase camera here, and show you how this thing is going to end. 3 laps to go. Getting ready to go back green. Pace car is in. Douglas Ivey out front with Zane Bierman on the front row. Let's go, Reese.
Yeah, heading back to the Geico restart zone all the way through this trioval here, and 85 back on the loud pedal. We're racing again here at Talladega. Green, white, checkered time. Side by side to the line. Ivey on the inside, Bierman on the outside. See some good pushing on that inside to try and get moving. Same thing on the outside, getting up through the gears. Got to keep it tucked in line, though. I know Bierman's hoping that Foster Yates stays in line to try and push them to the front. Down at the backstretch here, Bierman getting a little bit of a run, but not enough. Staying away from the side drafting right now. Hopefully these drivers can get back to the line and take that white flag, and we can race this thing out all the way to the end. Looks like Bierman is going to have just enough. He's going to clear down to the inside, and Craighead is going to slide up and get into Matthew Jordan. Not sure if he got help from behind or not, but that is going to end it here for tonight. Zane Bierman going to be your newest winner here in the 191 Motorsports, getting the lead at the right time. Douglas Ivey going to come home in second. Dale Garner, one-handed wonder, going to come home in third. We'll get to talk to him here in a second, but take a look at what happened here to start this incident. And it looks like the 58 just drifting up, maybe trying to get in the back bumper of the 31, and it didn't work out.
Right there. Rewind just a little bit, but you're coming through the, oops, slow down, not speed up. Going down into the turn here. There's a 58 looking kind of keep the that bump going and hopefully be able to give the 31 a shot opening things up. Obviously still had a lap to go here. And the 58 kind of going down in the corner. Nice run. Getting ready to line up that push. And maybe just a little bit early and unexpected by the one-handed wonder and slides up into the 23.
Yeah, if you're asking me, Jimmy, it looks like he got that run and thought maybe that middle line was open,
maybe,
and went to go to that middle line, and I mean that's an accident that just it can't. You said it before, it can't happen, and you hate to see it and under yellow like that from a move like that, especially coming to the white flag. Bunch of cars involved in this one, and some of them limping back to the line. Maybe some of them gaining some spots that they didn't think were going to be possible, but. That's something that you hate to see, and he even said it. It's not an excuse running a little bit harder at the end of this race, but it's going to result in Zane Bierman getting the win here tonight, first win on the season for the 5, and he's kind of factored into a bunch of these races, and finally now getting to the top step of the podium. Douglas Ivey in second, Foster Yates in third is what SDK is showing me. So. Is that we have? Yeah, it looks like it is going to be Foster Yates in third. Dale Garner is going to finish in fourth. But again, we're going to get him in for his interview regardless, and certainly talk to him about this race and how it went. I'm sure at least one of his hands are tired. That's for sure. But Zane Bierman is your winner here tonight. We'll get them in here in a moment.
So good race overall. I mean, it's 100 laps at Talladega, and that's a very intense. These drivers, I'm sure, are sweating running this close for that long. That's a long time. We've been on air for at least 2 hours now, and every single bit of that, the drivers have been in the car, sweating and worrying if somebody's going to wreck or. Worrying about Jimmy saying their name wrong. I mean, there's all kinds of things that go through their head especially if they're listening to the broadcast while they're driving. So, but overall, at the end of the night, the 5 walks away the winner over Douglas Ivey in the number 85 and Foster Yates in the 79. Huge shout out to Dale Garner Jr. obviously for getting out here and continuing racing, even being a little on the rough side. You can see the guys maybe letting out a little air of relief that this thing's over with. 64 Paul Helms will come in Pete number 5. Bradley Worley finishes in 6th, so not too bad after getting wrapped up there. Tony Brennan will be finishing 7th. Wade Enyart will finish in 8th. He started in 8th, so good job there for Wade. Richard Hartman up 5 spots, finishing in 9th. And then you have Matthew Jordan finishing in P, number 10. Again, a shout out to Matthew's Papa. And then Justin Spangler finishing in 11th. TJ Ivey finishing in 12th. Matthew Radford in 13th. Cameron Craighead will finish up in 14th after running up front all evening long. Christopher Kurtz will finish in P number 15 in that number 51 machine. 16th will be Scott Henderson. And Daniel Pinkston, after running some pretty good race here tonight, finishes out here in 17th place. So not being a factor at the end, but was definitely a factor throughout tonight's race.
Well, we got our top 3 here ready to get some interviews. But first, we're going to bring in the 4th place driver here tonight, and didn't get a chance to talk to him before the race, but DJ, one-handed wonder out here tonight. Didn't want to pull you in during the race, even if it was under caution. You had a little bit to focus on out there, but talk to us about how this race went. This could not have been easy. Talladega is never easy, but you kind of made it a little bit harder on yourself tonight.
Yeah, sitting in a cast right now on my left hand. I had to drive that whole race one-handed. Started out, just wanted to start in the back and kind of ride. Started to lose the pack, so got a little more aggressive there and found myself up front and hanging on to it a little bit here and there and managed to come out with a 4th.
So, I mean, at least it sucks either way, but at least it was your left hand that was the one that was enabled here tonight. Because I said to Jimmy, I'm wondering which one it is. And if he's without his right hand, I don't know how the hell up during this race. How was it just shifting down to get into pit lane, especially for that green flag pit stop?
Yeah, I almost, if you guys saw, I almost took everyone out because I had to reach across my wheel because I had to switch off the H pattern and clutch it down and downshift with the paddles. I was not having a good time with it. I was really hoping we'd only get cautions.
You need to put a button on the top of your H pattern so you can downshift.
I was wondering if you had using the H pattern with the right hand and maybe trying to steer it in there with your knees or something like that. But you get it done here tonight. You just missed out on the podium, but we didn't get a chance to bring you in before the race. And like I said, I didn't want to make you come in during the race because I didn't know if you had push talk or anything like that. So it would have been a little bit rough trying to drive one-handed and talk to us. But get you in here after the race. A good fourth place finish here tonight. Before we let you go and get out of here, who do you want to give a shout out to or thanks to?
I want to shout out Tommy Gun Customs. He normally makes all my paints. My mom for watching every week. She takes time out of her day every Sunday. And 191 Motorsports, Mike Casey, Rich Hartman, all those guys that put on the league, Brad Worley, Scott Henderson, Paul Helms. Love those guys to death.
All right, buddy. Well, we'll let you get out of here and rest up. I'm sure you're going to need it. And I know one arm is definitely going to be tired after this one. So congrats on the finish. We'll let you go celebrate, and maybe we'll see you next week.
All righty. Thank you.
That is the fourth place finish here tonight, the 31 of Dale Garner Jr. Third place here tonight is going to go to the 79 of Foster Yates.
Yes, sir.
Well, we're going to grab Foster Yates here as he's mid-conversation because that's what we do here at CRN.
That's what we do.
Hey, Foster, I mean, we know you got a loud and clear on us, so, I mean, kind of give us a rundown of your race tonight. Obviously, 100 laps here at Talladega, and definitely it can always become very interesting, and especially at the end.
Yeah, it was a very interesting race. I totally fell behind my strategy. I started, on the pole, and I had Cameron right next to me. I couldn't get any help on the restart. Fell to the back early, which I kind of wanted to stay up front, but I was excited not to be caught up in any wrecks. First half of the season, I've been caught in just about every wreck and had to use my fast repairs, but it was a good, clean race. Me and Paul Helms and Richard Hartman kind of fell to the back and stayed together along with Christopher Kurtz and just stayed in pack and kept kind of just going after it. And then we finally got that caution and got caught back up with the leaders. And from there, it was just a race. I got behind two very fast guys, Doug and Zane. And on that first green-white restart, we had a hell of a run on the outside. And I think we were going to clear the leader. And caution came out, and then we had another green-white checkered, and I got behind Zane. He got in the loud pedal, and we were moving, and he dropped down, and caution came out, and that ended the race. I would like to got to the finish line, but overall, it was a good race for myself and for everybody out there. It was definitely a long one.
It's longer than some people think. 100 laps at Talladega, obviously a little over 260 miles put in here yet tonight. You guys were out there for about 2 hours, so that's longer than most endurance races or most official races. That's for dang sure, unless you're doing an NIS race. So again, we've been watching you all season and seen you kind of go through your ups and downs, and I definitely your name kind of sticks out as last name is Yates, and I was a big Davey Allison fan back in the days, knowing that Yates owned that team. It kind of stuck out. I was like, oh, maybe he's related. You never know. Maybe just out here just happen to have the same last name, but definitely somebody I keep watching week in and week out to see how you continue to show yourself here tonight. So just from CRN and everybody outside of watching you here tonight, you did great coming home here with a third place finish at Talladega after 100 laps. So again, congratulations. I'll give you some time for any shout outs you might have on that car here tonight.
I just, I don't really have too many shout outs. Of course, my family for all the support, everybody that comes in and watches me race and they've been watching me all season get wrecked and involved in wrecks and go to the back. They saw me crab walk for 50 laps at Pocono, and
Yes.
you guys really don't know how difficult that was to drive that car and stay 3 seconds off the lead.
We watched it. It was amazing.
It was quite the challenge, but I had people, go fix your damage, and it was like 16 minutes worth of damage because they'd already been caught up in my fast repairs, and I'd made it up to second place and got taken out, and we went 3 wide and flipping down the track. My car was totaled after that, but thanks for everyone that supports me, watches me. Thank you guys for what y'all do. It's amazing because I have people all over the country that can tune in and watch, and they're sending texts about it. And thanks to running with Zane and Doug tonight. Those guys are class act, respectful racers, and we kind of had a plan going into the first green white, and we did it successfully. So shout out to those guys as well.
All right, again, I really appreciate the shout outs, and again, congratulations, and go celebrate with them friends and family.
All right, buddy. Thank you, guys.
Yes, sir.
That is your third place finisher here tonight, Foster Yates in the 79. Second place is going to go to Douglas Ivy in the 85. And Douglas, you came to the final green-white checkered there. You were in the lead. You got to control the restart. But controlling the restart here on these super speedways isn't necessarily the best place to be, as you get too good of a restart and all of a sudden you get freight trained.
Yeah, I was actually telling Zane before that I didn't even want to be in that spot because the caution before, he gave me such a good run. I knew them 2 guys were going to link up and go right past me, but luckily the caution came out, or Foster would have probably got past me too.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, 100 laps here at Talladega, and actually I think it was 106 by the time you guys were finally done here with the overtime. It's a bit of an endurance race here on the oval.
Yeah, it really is. I actually didn't even take any tires this whole race, so my car, it was wanting to slide around a little bit at the end, but luckily I held it together.
So I imagine after the length of this race here, and just surviving everything that kind of went on here, you got to still feel pretty good. It sucks coming up 1 spot short, but still feel pretty good up here in the top 3 here, finishing second.
Yeah, I haven't been having the greatest season, but I know these restrictor plates tracks I can do pretty good, because back when NASCAR raced in 2003, that's mainly all I ran. So kind of got them somewhat down pat, but if the caution wouldn't have came out, I was kind of hoping I had something for Zane, but there's no telling with the caution coming out exactly what happened. So
yeah, exactly. It sucks. So when a race ends under caution, especially if you kind of had your sights set on maybe making a rebuttal there and getting the lead back. But either way, you come home with a second place here tonight. So we'll congratulate you on that. We'll let you go celebrate that. But before you do, who do you want to give a shout out to or thanks to?
I just want to give a shout out to all my family. This is actually the one league that I get to run with my brother, TJ. Hoping he was going to be up there with us and we could have done something together. But other than that, that's about it.
Yeah, he was up there for a little bit, just trying to battle and get back on the lead lap. But unfortunately, had a little bit of a rougher race there for him. But either way, you get it home here in second. So congrats, and we'll see you next week. See if you can get up here again.
All right. Thank you. Good job tonight, guys.
Appreciate it, buddy. You too. That is your second place finisher here tonight, the 85 of Douglas Ivy. Last but not least, getting it done and getting the pass done at the right time is going to be the 5 of Zane Bierman.
Hey, Zane, it's Jimmy and Carl up in the booth. You copy?
Guys, how are you?
Oh, great and fantastic. First and foremost, we need to say congratulations on winning here tonight after 100 laps. You are also the biggest mover of the race, so you're just knocking them off, checking off all those boxes. But what it came down to it was you were in a spot maybe not too favorable, but looking to be a lap down there and just kind of hang out front with Scruffy kind of pushing you around in front of the leader. And then the caution finally came out and you were able to come back around. Give us a little rundown on your race and how those ending laps kind of worked out to your favor to pull away a win here tonight.
You're right. We were at risk of going a lap down. I think it was about 10 to go or so, something like that. I knew me and Scruffy had to stay out in front of the lead car. I hate interfering with the lead pack normally in a race like that, but I knew those guys are probably just looking to tuck in and stay out front of the midfield. So luckily they didn't mind that we kind of headed up the pack and just kept doing until we had that next caution, and was able to get 4 tires. So I had one crazy run after that caution that put me back up front, and that put us in a good spot to work those last couple green white checkers.
You know, I know a lot of drivers that come out here and they love these super speedways because everybody says, well, anybody can win. It does take a little bit of talent. Like you said, you were able, you know, you had to play a little game of kind of chess out there and being in the right spot at the right time, taking full advantage, you know, of the situation, being out front of the leaders, get you on the lead lap, you take 4 tires. So all those decisions to me sound like you just made some fantastic moves for that race car, putting yourself in a position to get the win overall here tonight, and that's what the outcome was. So I mean, Carl, unless you got anything to add, I mean, what do you say about the somebody that can go through like diversity like that here come the end?
Well, I mean, it's just it's hanging in there and not giving up. You and Scruffy did exactly what you had to do. You kept it out in front there and stayed on the lead lap. Or, you know, if they decided to pass you, then all of a sudden you would have had to get to mixing it up and battling and stay in that lucky dog position. But it had to be just a little tough because you guys had a lot of green flag laps out there. I mean, 6 cautions for a 100-lap race here at Dega isn't that much. And I would assuming you were probably sweating a little bit coming towards the end before you finally got that caution to catch you back up.
Yeah, you're right. You know, the thing about all those green flag runs is we had to pit under green tonight, and that always is a recipe for disaster. And I fell victim to that as well. I owe Scruffy an apology because I think he incurred a bit of a time penalty in pit road because I overcooked a little bit. So that's why we ended up coming out of the pits together in that the cluster at the end.
Yeah, we've seen you doing a little lawn maintenance on the front stretch coming in there.
Well, I knew I only wanted fuel and I had my tires checked, so I knew I had an early pit box, so I had to get them checked off as soon as possible. And it's just a little bit of trying to do too much at one time and didn't get stopped quite quick enough.
Well, either way, everything worked out for the best here, and I'll give it back to you, Jimmy. You get the win here tonight.
Yeah, I mean,
thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, no. Well, before you get out of
you done
here,
with me? Okay.
the most important part. I mean, up here is giving you some time. You know, we said congratulations. We got your side of the story, but now we need to give you a little bit of time to say thank you to anybody out there watching.
Oh yeah, thanks. I think my mom watching tonight for the first time. Thank my wife for letting me miss supper most of all. That's
always
those
a shout
freebies
out
are
to
hard
the
to come by.
wives.
So yeah.
Right? Next thing you know, you'll have a bag lunch out on your front porch.
Yeah, I might have to pack my own for tomorrow too.
No, always good to hear. You know, the spouses supporting our hobby here on iRacing for the sim racing stuff. So, again, we always appreciate the shout outs, Zane, and hopefully we'll get to see you here in the upcoming weeks as you guys are starting to get to that point. We're about halfway through the season. So again, congratulations on the win here at Talladega, and we'll let you go celebrate with your friends and family.
Cool. Thanks. Hope to talk to you guys again soon.
Yes, sir.
Is your winner here tonight and the 6th winner here on the season, Zane Bierman and the 5. We are more than halfway through this season, Jimmy, as this is race number 7 here.
Oh, dang.
Next
Only
week,
3 more?
we will have Rockingham. Well, we got to have 5 more yet. We got 12 races here for the season. Rockingham coming up next, 150 laps at the rough and tumbly Rockingham. Ooh. And definitely check out some of the paint schemes next week as it's throwback paint week. And we'll see what kind of cool old school paint schemes we see out there. As I know these drivers
I want to see what they consider
every week.
I want to see what they consider old school. If I see a Jeff Gordon paint job, like the new Exalta, that's not old school. That's just those guys being a lot younger than me.
I mean, even someone like the Dale Jr. or Jimmy Johnson paint schemes.
Yeah.
No. We need to go back at least to the 90s.
They got to be an early JJ paint job.
Well, boys and girls, that's going to do it for us here tonight. Hopefully you enjoyed the broadcast here for the 191 Motorsports. Tomorrow night, we have the Hold Your Brakes Academy, and then we keep kicking off the rest of the week with the Core Xfinity CSRL, VVR, and Core GT series. But for myself and Jimmy here from the Talladega Super Speedway, we'll see you at the track.
Peace.